Today's question: does Spider-Man's arch nemesis Kingpin have the best data culture of all supervillains? I think the answer is yes. This is real-time data, a look at charts in the movies. Today, it's all about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, a fantastic film, a visual delight, and I want to know and share with you just why Kingpin has got his data culture absolutely nailed. Let's take a look. So, in the movie, Kingpin is grieving the death of his wife and son, Vanessa and Richard, in a car accident. His grief is so great that, who wouldn't do this? He builds a particle collider, the AHFC, I've no idea what it stands for, to find other versions of his family members in parallel universes. Great idea. Now, in order to do this, you need a great big command center with lots of talented data analysts and engineers. Look at all these data-driven displays. Kingpin has done brilliantly well. Clearly, he's thought about data literacy and data culture. These people must be talking together, iterating to build those dashboards. It wouldn't surprise me if they all have a copy of the Big Book of Dashboards on their desks. I mean, of course they would. For Kingpin's data culture, I'm going to give this a straight 10 out of 10 Oscar statuettes. Yes, wouldn't Oscars for data viz be a cool innovation? Well, you saw it starting here. Kingpin's obviously built a great data-driven team. Let's dive into some of the dashboards. Okay, dashboard 1 is one of the interfaces for driving the AHFC, and it's also got some system monitoring, as you can see. Now, there's big pictures on this dashboard. They could just look out of the window if they wanted to see the AHFC rather than visually represent it on the screen. So I feel like they've eaten a lot of real estate. But we can see some useful charts down at the bottom. We've got line charts, some bar charts, and then things that, I don't know, are they ternary charts perhaps, and radial bar charts? So first of all, complex radials and ternary charts aren't a great idea. This is a spicy piece of technology that they need to monitor in real time, and if you're giving them non-visual best practice visuals in order to see insights rapidly, you're creating a bit of a risk. Bar charts are great though. There's a couple on this dashboard. Bar charts are great because cognitively we are incredibly good at seeing and comparing lengths of bars when the measure is encoded as a bar. Of course, there's a problem with this bar. There's no label, there's no title, there's no measure. What were they thinking? What is it actually showing? We could take the bars. Maybe this is what the bar chart is. First of all, we need to add some category labels. Maybe that's Kingpin's nemesis. Nemesis? I don't know. Enemies. We need a measure. And we could do that with an axis, or we could label the chart directly. And then, what's something I like doing? Rotating a bar. That gives us more space to make the category labels bigger. And we need a title too. I think if the team had put this chart on the dashboard, perhaps the categories and titles are different, but you get the drift. That would have been better. So, because of the big pictures, because of the radial and the ternary charts, and because the bar chart isn't labelled, I'm afraid this one's only getting 4 out of 10 Oscars. So they could do better. Label your charts, use appropriate charts for rapid insight, keep the radial stuff for whizzy-bangy presentation, display and data art. Alright, once the particle collider is up and running, they need to monitor to see how many instances of Vanessa and Richard they have found across all the parallel universes. And they have a real-time version of this dashboard where each dot represents a version of the doppelganger discovered. Now, it's real-time and that's great, but the reason I want to call this one out is because of the placement of this dashboard. It's on a big screen in the control center for everybody to see. That's a really important part of data strategies is what is the most important thing you're monitoring. For all the people running the collider, they want to find Vanessa and the sun. This is a great dashboard. It's on a big screen. It's central. I'm giving this one 7 out of 10 Oscars. Good work. Alas for Kingpin, while the collider is running, Spider-Man and Green Goblin are having a big old fight right in front of the particle. And in fact, Spider-Man gets pushed into the beam a little bit, and what do you know? Instead of Vanessa and Richard, we end up with lots of different spider people from parallel universes coming into our universe. Oh, calamity. But it does make for a good film. When things are going wrong in any data-driven system, you need alerts. And so I want to call out attention to how they show things are going wrong with the collider. What do? They just whack alert symbols all over the dashboard. The monitor, the person can see it as things are going wrong. And you know what? They can see it across all the displays too. These are things we see in business dashboards all the time. Here are two examples from the big book of dashboards. This first one monitors 3 main metrics across an organization. And you can see one is red. That's the one that is underperforming and needs attention. Alerts draw attention to what you need to take action on. The second dashboard is slightly more subtle. It uses small red dots to show metrics and then aspects of those metrics that are causing the bigger problems. So using alert systems like Kingpin does in his control center is really vital. So I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10 for understanding you need to draw attention when things are going wrong. Incidentally, things go so wrong the entire collider blows up, and you know, what happens to these data analysts? Where do they get recruited? Is there like a LinkedIn for villains? Or are these jobs actually available on LinkedIn right now? And what is the job description? Is there a lot of on-site training, and is the health insurance any good? I don't know. It's a mystery to me, one that keeps me awake. Kingpin has to go rebuild the collider with Dr. Octopus's help. They run the collider again, and this time they get closer. So our final dashboard is the one that actually tracks how close Richard and Vanessa are being pulled from a parallel universe into this one. And boy, they get close. This dashboard's really cool. I love it. The figures show in real time how close they are. You can see them emerging. DNA matching maps also indicate how close their DNA is being matched. I love it. There's some KPIs in the middle. We've got bar charts again, unlabeled. But here we've got a donut chart showing progress to completion for these two getting into our universe. Donuts. Do we like donuts? They have their place. They take up a lot of screen real estate. They're visually obvious in this case because there's only one category. But donuts generally aren't something I would recommend. Here's a visual showing 4 different donuts side by side. And my challenge to you is, can you tell me if the blue segment is bigger in this donut or this donut? Actually, it's really hard. With donuts like this, it's actually better to create a stacked bar chart like this. And when you do this, you'll notice that those 4 donuts that take up a lot of space can actually be collapsed into a chart that takes up just the space of a single donut. So donuts are space hoggers, and if you have multiple slices, all your cognitive systems really fall apart. I'm still going to give this dashboard a 9 out of 10 though, because even though donuts aren't always great, the good news is the donut in this one is the main KPI they're trying to monitor. How much of the family members has been brought into this universe. So they've got prominence right in the center of the dashboard. It's an easy to read donut, and they do have labels. So I'm going to give it a pass in this circumstance, but only use donuts when you know what you're doing, and clearly Kingpin and his team know. Alas, all the investment in data culture comes to nothing because Spider-Man and the spider people from across the universe thwart Kingpin once again and destroy the collider again, and who knows what happens to all those data analysts. I hope they had insurance. Of course, inspirational people can learn from their failures. I am sure Kingpin will bounce back with more data-driven, villainous escapades, ready for his next chapter. But there you go. What do you think? We've looked at creating a data culture. We've looked at various different ways of effectively communicating data and progression to goal. That's real-time data analysis of Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. What do you think? Do you agree with my ratings? Would you change them? Have you seen any charts on TV or movies that maybe I could cover in a future video? Finally, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's go find charts in movies. Take care.